And so people in South Korea and Japan, like they're never going to have kids, you know? People really are worried about the future. I have friends and colleagues that said, I'm not going to have a child. I'm going to be a vegan. Like we're killing the planet. Hey guys, welcome to another CryptoSparta Podcast episode. It's the new year, and we're stoked. We're yoked.
Yeah, it's been a while, but new year, new us, and we're still grinding out here. Still on that grind, boy. So yeah, crypto's in a dark place. It's still on this little lag, but
one of the things that I wanted to bring up was the idea of Bitcoin, if you bought it the new year, has been outperforming. A lot of people do these things like wash trading and wash sales. Taxes have a big implication where money comes from.
Yeah, so I think the last time we had the podcast was towards the end of 2022. Now it's 2023. And you saw a lot of dips because people were trying to close in those losses or, for tax purposes. And then now, Bitcoin dropped to, 16,000. And now there's this huge jump this past month where it went from 16,000 now it's at 23.
I have a theory on it, and I don't want to interrupt Brian, so I'm not going to get into it because
people are theorizing it's one person that's making these moves.
Well, we got to look at ETH. We got to look at the whole market. But the thing is, if you look
had a jump from 1,200 back to 1,600. And
I mean, if you bought ETH at 800. Shout outs to you.
Even at the beginning of the year, if you knew after this, after the tax, trading, if you bought at the beginning of the year, you'd be outperforming the market. It's up 34% the last 60 days. So a lot of coins right now are up from January 1st, where we've seen a little life back in crypto.
And the thing is, I try to bring the macro perspective. Relative to the macro, it's outperforming stocks big time.
You would take 30% in a bull market for S&P all day. So yeah, you could get your 35% for the year and be done trading for the rest of the year.
What I kind of wanted to get at was the idea that I was explaining this thesis that the younger generations feel hopeless. And so people in South Korea and Japan, they're never going to have kids, People really are worried about the future. I have friends and colleagues that said, I'm not going to have a child. I'm going to be a vegan. We're killing the planet. These people have a famine mindset. I think that this is cyclical. Things are bouncing back. But basically, all of these people that feel hopeless, where do they invest? Do they invest in their retirement fund? They think they're gonna fucking die. Seriously.
Just spending it or just putting it in a savings account.
Yeah, I'm not gonna have kids. I'm just gonna die. Let's end it. Or, I don't mean to be super aggressive.
Or might as well just spend it while we're living. So there's a lot of
Well, the habits of people. So in South Korea, the average house, I believe it's between 800,000 or 2.6 million, depending on how close you are to the city center. And South Korea is Seoul, and then the rest of the country, but then it buffers against North Korea, which is a militarized zone. It's a tiny country. It's like being in Texas almost, because there's a really intense border, and everybody has to do a minimum of 1 year in the service.
2 years. 2 years military service.
Really?
Yeah, I knew somebody.
Yeah, the Koreans
had to go back. Or if you were in pro basketball arena.
I follow all the StarCraft people. No, it's 1 year. 1 year for the StarCraft people. But you still have to do a year.
Hungmin son from Tottenham, he still had to serve a year. Or they keep on delaying his year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But for South Korea, the idea of these younger people, and then this is my thesis overall, is that the idea of retail is that I think, I don't know who's listening, Smithy, Nick, but retail is the little bits of money that the average person squirrels away hoping to be able to retire. But the average person doesn't have their retirement hopes. When my grandfather was putting away some money from when he was at a canning factory, he thought that would eventually pay for his house or his retirement. Now, parts of the world that are now in a globalized world, if you're making fractions of a penny working in Africa or South Korea or like whatever nether regions of like the world, you're gonna want to gamble it. So you're gonna throw it on SHIB, you're gonna throw it on Doge, you're gonna want to do shit coins and leverage
Bonk.
Yeah, Bonk.
That's a new one for this month. Bonk.
Yeah, Bonk. My cousin put some money on Bonk. I put a bit on Bonk. It's on Solana chain.
Solana meme coin.
Yeah.
And it's based off the meme of Bonk.
You're horny.
Yep.
And it's the Doge dog with a bat.
Yep.
Saying
Bonk,
you're horny.
Bonk.
Bonk.
Bonk if you're horny. Yeah, so this time, I mean, like, there's not been a lot. I think there's been a lot of reports coming out doing the outlook for 2023. And I think a lot of it has to do with DeFi coming back. That they're predicting. Kind of DeFi scalability, making sure, like, you have adoption. That's like a main. That's a main pain point is adoption, making DeFi as easy as possible for people to use.
Well, there's the giant, and it's not an elephant in the room, but maybe we could update, because it's been some time since we've like discussed with our viewers. Legally, I mean, there was so much fraud and problems, and it's going to lead to more regulation, which I think actually people are just welcome. Like professionalized. Well, so FTX obviously has like just sunk a giant hole into their investors' pockets. There's a lot of people that then were lending to each other with Barry Silbert and Gemini.
Genesis. Gemini is now
the
all withdrawals because of this whole Genesis debacle with the lending, and they're actually sued.
It
Genesis.
typically goes back to FTX. But I mean, do you want to untangle this discussion?
Well, it's all about Genesis and lending money when they were heavily involved in UST and losing all that money.
I'm gonna let this be a Brian.
No, I'm like.
No, you just unroll it. You just unroll.
I'm about to be done, honestly, because there's not much to say. Where it's just like.
Barry, what did Barry do? Like, it's like a very tangled web.
No, it's just more of leverage. I mean, they got beat by UST, basically, and it's all has been a house of cards, basically.
You need to explain it though deeper.
I don't from a normal perspective. It's just know that money's tied up and they don't have the money. It's because of the lending and the loans. Because they over collateralize their loans, so they over leverage because of UST. A lot of people don't understand how intertwined UST was in the overall market. Like, and that collapse is just gone.
Well, is it going to fall down on Barry Silbert then in the Winkleback?
Well, we'll see. They're going to court. Like, they gave Genesis a deadline saying you have until, Friday to give us our funds back, basically. Because people can't withdraw from lending, and they withdraw from they pause withdrawals on all, or they pause on all withdrawals. So basically all you can withdraw from is Coinbase and Binance. And then Coinbase now is KYC. You got to provide your ID in order to withdraw money. So there's basically only two places now, unless you want to go to KuCoin off market. So like one by one, these CXs are collapsing, and it's all just a kind of a matter of time because they've been so intertwined with UST and that previous collapse where they're trying to buy time, and then so like that brings to question like who's the next to go. Like Binance has been kind of sketchy a little bit. Coinbase maybe looks like the safest play right now, but that's basically what's going on. I mean, FTX had a hack. They said like they got hacked for 415 million, but that could be inside job. Who knows? So DeFi's, the outlook is high, but right now it's in shambles. So, basically due to our infrequency has mostly been because of NFTs has kind of catched on a little bit. There's still a high volume, even though ETH is down, there's still a high volume or a high interest in NFTs. Like you had PumPy Pandas, basically their floor has increased. They're coming out with a point system kind of thing. Like they're still building. Like Feet Pick NFTs just got released, and that was a whole.
I'm an NFT collector, and the thing is, when you collect NFTs, there's always going to be a new thing. So, are you going to be the new mint? But the thing is, there will be some classics. That's why I stick by Mooncats. But like, I've like shoved more and more of my net worth into Porsche's mint was horrible. But everybody on NFT Twitter
there was a need. There's a need for it because people love Porsche. It's a classic 911. It's a classic.
But their mint price was too high. It was 0.9 ETH.
Well, and it was frozen.
And they didn't really know how to do it properly.
They didn't launch it. They didn't hire expertise, NFT expertise or consultants. I feel like they're new to the game, right? So you have to hire knowledge-based or subject matter experts.
So I was discussing though with Brian about the idea of blue ocean and red ocean. I think now it's starting to become a red ocean where there are more and more sharks that are trying to capitalize. But what I've explained to him is that, look, I love buying NFTs. And then for some people, they think it's super dumb. But you need to actually have bought some NFTs and understood the culture or the whole movement. And then it makes sense.
The thing is that right now in the time of plus for NFTs, it's a cultural moment where it's like you could, just like a trading card would be, or like you're buying something that, could represent a time period. This is the NFT time period. And it ends up being maybe worth something in the end. Maybe
if you were there for the first days of NFTs, you're rich.
Exactly.
Because they're historical. That's why I like Mooncats. But like, I mean, the thing is like taking on its own culture and evolution. And what people don't understand is who are the customers? Who are the buyers of these NFTs?
We don't even really know.
We know. They're nerds. They're like a lot of time.
Even the kids now, you got 13-year-old kids that don't know the full extent. They just see it and they think it looks cool.
So I bought Robux.
They got to figure out trying to buy it.
I bought Robux for my cousin's birthday.
Yeah, it's just like Minecraft where it's
or Roblox, Minecraft.
Yeah.
NFTs, why not? It's just logical.
And they'll figure out how to buy it, and then they'll learn themselves about the market and what they can do with it. So it's just like that kid, like back when the NFT craze, he created his own collection. He was like 11 years old. Like this will trigger, cultural movement inspiring the younger generation.
So CryptoPunks was the first NFT project that was generative, and then everyone copied them. But if you have a CryptoPunk, and then if you bought the CryptoPunk before NFTs were a thing, and I knew about them a long time back, and I'm like kicking myself.
0.5.
All you needed to do was just swap some ETH to get a CryptoPunk or a Bored Ape. I remember when Bored Apes were below 1 ETH.
I remember when there were 2, and we had our buddy in our CryptoSparta chat saying that he had a gold honorary one, and he was proud that he sold it for 2.2. And then now they just like went up to
that was lifetime.
400.
That was the retirement. Yeah, but that's why you buy 3 NFTs. You buy the one that you hold forever, You buy the one that you hold on to until you just need the money, and then the first one you just flip. But you have an emotional attachment. So then that was what happened to me with the penguin. I bought the penguin.
But you didn't have penguins at once.
Exactly. I should have gotten 3 penguins. But imagine if I had gotten 100 penguins. My return on investment of NFTs has been so high. So what I was telling Brian was that I bought my Kanpai Panda at about 0.27. It's at 2.1 Ethereum.
Yeah.
What if I had bought 10? What if I bought 20? Yeah, the
rogs.
The rogs.
The rogs are worth 0.75.
Shout out to Luca Nets.
And I bought it for 0.32 and I thought it
was one rog equals one retirement.
But now I'm technically 2x on ETH in this investment. And I don't have a penguin. So like Pudgy Penguins are on the come up, like Yuga Labs.
They're at 6 ETH. So when ETH was down, the thing is, this is like the weird way, and I don't want to get too personal, but the thing is
the ETH value
we had the ETH that raised up, raised down. So when did you buy the ETH? But the thing is, when you do NFTs, you really gauge it in terms of ETH.
So the dollar amount is actually the same. It hasn't really changed. Because so you paid.
I convinced my dad to buy 2 penguins when ETH was down.
4,000.
But when penguins were down. No, we got the
ETH
penguins under.
3,000?
No, we got the penguins underneath 2 ETH.
Yeah, but ETH was at like 2,000, 3,000.
No, it was in the dumpster. Oh. And then he was almost thinking like 800, like should get more ETH.
Yeah.
And then that's the whole thing was I was like, whenever I buy ETH, I like fucking spend it.
Yeah, you use it. Because it's just a middleman.
Yeah. And then ETH goes up, but it's tipped down. But
it's hard to hold just.
Let's bring it back to what my thesis was the idea that there's the rich people, there's the Davos people, they're the people in control of these large, amounts of Bitcoin or Ethereum, or that they're in control of like the governments or whatever, But the everyman has been getting squeezed to like a pulp. The South Korean guy that will never ever have a child or own an apartment, they're doing 100x leverage on fucking ETH.
They had nothing to lose, I guess.
Where is the money? The hot ball of money is what Hasaka talked about. Hasaka trades the white wolf. I believe he's an Asian trader.
I don't know. There's been speculation that he sold his account.
There's been, yeah, no. And then he had like an intern running it.
Yeah. Or it's not him who's behind the account.
Yeah.
We'll see. Time will tell.
Regardless, though, the idea is that the world is changing where there are so many people that have no hope. They don't care.
Eggs are $5-6. $5-6.
You're never gonna own a home. Lie flat in China. Fuck doing the hamster wheel. Just eat fucking lentils and beans and rice and like ignore the government. Don't have kids. Don't struggle and work for like a large corporation. Don't really try in life because the elite already own stuff. So
give up.
Throw the monopoly board.
Or wave the white flag. They want us to quit. They don't want us to win.
They don't want you to win. They don't want you to win. So you just let it go. And then what do you do with the spare money you have? You refuse to consume. And the big thing is they say consume. No. What if you don't do consumerism?
Then it just rots away by inflation.
But what do you do with the money you have? Then you just pile up gold.
It's just sitting in a bank account. That's why you get killed by inflation. It's just sitting in a bank account.
They've disincentivized. Brian is so right. They've disincentivized saving money.
So the stock market is shit. So it's like, you don't want to invest your money. So just keep it in the bank, but you'll lose 8% every year. Or
buy scratch offs. Buy NFTs.
Try to hit it big. Has been going off lately, like back to back, like over a $200 million jackpot. Like there's a 1.5 billion. So it's like they want you to waste your money. They want to keep your attention. So it's a hard world out there.
They built a life where you're gonna spend like almost your full paycheck just to rent a place near the city center where you work. Yeah, I mean they're bleeding you dry. There's a fraction of the people that live a decent life.
TV streaming services are no longer cheap now. Now it's like cheaper to buy.
So now people are giving up, but I mean, is that what they want?
Well, you're back to your DoorDashing days. People are paying $5 for a cheeseburger to get it delivered, McDouble delivered to their house.
Well, yeah, people are now starting to get used to weird things because what I'd explain to Brian is like we had some beef today. The peasants, they had 150 days of vacation. And then they would work every other day or during the certain seasons. But they were very religious and they would do celebrations. They'd have 10 kids. They were fucking all the time.
Yeah. They needed kids to work the fields to help them farm.
The water wasn't safe. So every day they're just drinking wine. They work half the days. You know, there's the working season. You got a shit ton of kids because you're fucking all the time. And you've got fresh food that you eat. Nowadays, people are isolated. They're not having children. Yeah.
Everyone's staying inside.
COVID
really fucked us up. Not gonna lie.
Totally. I mean, I'm right there.
Fucked kids up too. The younger generation, like how they learn, how they get away with stuff. Like even technology too. ChatGPT is changing how we teach people now. So it's crazy. Want to go to the shows now?
Yeah, I think we figure out what we show, but I'm showing Cop High Pandas. They've been going between 2.1 and 2.01, and what I find like difficult is that if someone asks me advice, you really need to get into their mindset. And are they going to be a trader? Are they going to be in the mindset of like, yo, dude, there are people that I've given suggestions to where it's like, I got you in at this price. And then this is like the fucking Wolf of Wall Street. So I get you in at $3 and I take you out at $9. Are you not going to be telling me what's the next play? But the thing is, I tell people, hey, this one's hot, but you gotta watch it. That's what happened to Bonk.
Well,
Bonk was a meme coin on Solana.
Then it sucked.
Yeah.
It's done.
You could have gotten in, told you. You could have doubled, tripled.
The lifeline.
Well, did you get out? Your fucking whatever money just turned to zero.
So tight. These things really only last like a week, 2 weeks, couple days tops. You gotta get in, you gotta identify, and then get out. Like, don't get attached to your bags. Like,
you need targets.
There's no
you need to look at the
goals.
volumes.
Don't care about the tax implications.
Yeah.
You gotta get out while you're making money.
Yeah.
And so it's actually, I mean, it's hard to identify honestly what's the next play because you don't want. Because like there's a theme right now of overselling things that have already pumped. Like things like Aptos, like people are trying to short Aptos. It's up 300% right now.
So you can look at the open interest and then you can look at, and then this was some of the stuff where you can look at like, where is the leverage? Because people
trying to get an edge too.
Exactly. You look at the edge and you look at also narratives and you realize like Aptos, it was small enough that one person could blow it.
Well, that's what they're saying about this move about BTC. It's one entity. That's kind of a bull trap. That this could be a bull trap because it literally was.
I'm a fan because as like I really consider myself libertarian. Where, dude, yeah, like life isn't fair. I mean, it is collusion, but what are you expecting? And then otherwise, whenever they try to interject about like, yeah, this is collusion, and then the government gets involved, it's like, wait, why do the government people get rich at the end of the day? Like, just leave
Systems corrupt.
leave the open system. Yeah, I mean, all systems are corrupt, and people control. They can move it up and down, but it washes out naturally. Just let natural stuff happen. But then, when these governments try to control stuff, that's when stuff gets really screwy. Because then, how does it always happen to benefit the government?
That's why people are so against communism. Or like people from a lot of immigrants are against communism. Right? Like, if you mention communism, they are so adverse to it. Or like,
it's funny to me because
you mentioned communism.
Vietnamese.
Yeah, Vietnamese or Cuban.
Your mom's.
Yeah, my mom's escaped war. She was a Vietnam War refugee.
But what brings these groups of people together? Eastern Europeans, Vietnamese, and Cubans. And Venezuelans. No, communism in opposition to communism.
Opposition.
If all of these people don't like communism, hey man, that's like all the corners of the world. It's not about that they like happen to be like, hey, we don't like communism.
There's a reason.
It's like around the world,
they're just like, it. It's
yeah.
not just some university, chick or like a left wing chick, theorizing. Like, they actually lived it, and it's terrible. It doesn't work.
They weren't friends before.
Yeah.
All these people that I've met that said no to the government being in control.
Human nature is like selfish and corrupt. It's human nature, and that doesn't work. That's what causes collapses.
We've gone full circle, but you know what I'm gonna say? You already mentioned it, and I already mentioned it. My shill is Kampai Pandas. Brian's shill is ROGs. Explain the ROGs, and then we'll wrap it up.
I think if you have a ROG, you're just betting on something
in the future. The utility eventually has to come.
So eventually, I think as a ROG collector, you want to have the whole collection. You want to have a little pudgy. You want to have a pudgy penguin. You want all three. Because there's gonna be some kind of combo points thing if you have all three.
So that's the big thing, is the idea that
they're cooking something up.
You need a big one and a little one, right?
Yeah.
And then
apparently all three. You need all three.
Really?
You feel like it.
Oh. Are you sure?
Well, I don't have any evidence.
You gotta explain it to the
No. This is just a feeling.
It's a feeling. I think you're gonna need just a big one and a ROG.
So you're just saying you just need a penguin and a rod.
Yeah.
Something to hold, the penguin to hold the rod, the tool. I think you just need a three, like there's a bonus. There's a benefit to having all three. Don't get me wrong. You can probably pay to play.
I always thought that little.
I always get the bonus with three.
I always thought that little pudgies were separate.
I think there's a little bonus.
And do you understand the idea of? I think that the ROGs are shoehorned. Luca Nets bought
there's all these IP plays. There's all these IP plays.
But
same with the Bored Ape right now. There's Yuga Labs, the Sewer Pass. They changed their CEO. Like, there's all these different plays. They're building amusement parks. Like, they're kind of like the new Disney for younger generation.
I see it. I totally see it.
Where, maybe for us parents, when we're 14, our kids are like 10, 12.
I don't like Disney.
No, they're not.
I'd be more towards
Bored Ape. Disney World.
I'd be more Bored Ape World.
They're going to Bored Ape.
I'd go to Bored Ape World. I'd take my daughter to Bored Ape World.
And then there's all these rides circulating around Bored Apes, or there's all these stories, movies. Seth Green with the cartoons. Yeah, Seth Green with the cartoons.
Malarkey. It's just. They haven't quite figured out, but some people will figure it out.
So
it is the future. NFTs are the future.
Think about how easy would it be to make a children's cartoon about pudgy penguins?
They've already done it.
Yeah, and
but you know what the weird thing is?
Nickelodeon buys it, and it's incorporated into slime and all that crap. So it's like they're so cute. You can advertise it to kids. Like it's like kid brainwash.
Just a matter of
That's
time.
why NFTs are, you know, like you just gotta bide your time if you can afford a little bit. You know, mine
Dude,
is
when I spent the Robux for my cousin for his birthday, I just knew that this
you
is
don't know what kids are into.
they're into Robux. They love Robux.
Are into the weirdest shit. Like Minecraft is the weirdest shit. Like for us, like Gen Z, my cousin who grew up based on Minecraft, he's into all that puzzle shit. I don't get that, and I was into video games, like, you know, as a kid, like, you know, Legos and all that shit. So like this different generation likes different things.
Well, the weird thing is,
and all of them are similar.
It's splintered so much, though. I think that they all have, you know, they're similar in that they can be picky. Dude, how many streaming platforms are there?
Exactly. It's no longer economical to stream. You got
These kids can pick what exactly they want.
But on that note, that was we back in 2023.
Oh, we're killing it. We're crushing it.
Even though crypto's not.
It's bouncing back.
It's bouncing back, but we're out here grinding. We're reporting.
Shout out Smithy.
Yeah, everyone. Cooper listening.
Cooper, for sure. Koopa Troopa.
Peace. That was it.
Deuces.